unanibamba so kitoto, fanya haraka uwai, ina uroso umepitiliza. Follow me go, tamu chokoleto, Mungu ameumba amepatia, sijaiona yako asilia. You can count on me love, ukinitaji nipo, omoninga na olinga. Oh baby, say my name, anytime you want me come around, say my name, anytime you don't have to call, say my name, anywhere you want to come around, say my name, say my name, say my. I drop it down and pick it up, baby make it shake it like you like shake it up, say me margarita with a shot of tequila, then I pull up on you. Baby, I need more. This kind of love, nimetafuta sijapata jawabu, nimeshapima nikafeli hesabu, wanasema chini ya jua hakuna ajabu, ila wewe nani wewe, kama jini umenasa, maana upepo wako umenikoroga, na kila chocho ukipinda wanapinda, shingo zao zavunjika, sijui kanisha nini, kweli mapenzi chakula cha moyo, ametala akili, aniendesha kabasi la Islando, aniwe, utaniua wewe, mtoto mweza, utaniua wewe.
Good afternoon. Grand rising. The weekend was amazing. Ready for the week? The conversations. A beautiful week ahead. Yes, Otile Brown playing right here in the middle of the 21st century. The name of the jam is Sunina, and I hope you guys had a beautiful weekend. Karibuni sana to yet another beautiful week right here on the middle of the 21st century. This is Black Hot Fire Network. To all our beautiful, amazing returning and new subscribers or listeners on all our streaming platforms, Karibuni sana. My name is Joby. To everyone who's here for the first time, and it's exactly 56 minutes past the top of the hour. Again, I hope your weekend was amazing and wishing you a beautiful week ahead as we get, of course, to catch up with the conversations of the news and updates that are coming, of course, from Africa, politically, entertainment-wise. Of course, we have different conversations. This is the Pan-African Bliss every Monday to Friday, but we have other more shows that are aired after this and before this. We have Shmani, who you'll catch in the morning as you listen to literally non-stop music and conversation, where you can request whatever you feel like jamming into as you literally start your day or your week, literally. But of course, we also have other more conversations, like I said. So the only way you can catch up with us, of course, is by subscribing on whatever platform you're streaming live with us from. In case you're on YouTube for the first time, karibu sana, hit the like button as well, share and comment with your family and friends as well. For those who are with us on BitChute, hope you guys are doing great, and our radio station listeners as well, karibuni sana. And to our Spotify, Spreaker subscribers, and to everyone who's on all our streaming platforms, because Menze, we are everywhere, to the point sometimes I don't even know most of the apps or literally links or websites that we are actually on. But in case also that is so hard for you, you can download the app, which you'll just literally be tapping into. So long as you're connected to the internet, you'll be able to catch up with all our shows. The app, where you can literally be able to listen to us via the radio. Or rather, best if you have Amazon and Roku TV, we are also up and available right there. So in case you are missing the shows every day, you can literally be able to stream them on repeat, that is during the weekend. But of course, also amazing supplements, which I'll be telling you about in a few. Of course, as we check on what we're going to be talking about, a lot has been happening during the weekend, and I'm here to literally take you through it and as we talk about it. But majorly, we're going to be focusing on Kenya, where we can see the Kenyan forces have killed, or that is about 11 Al-Shabaab militia. And it goes back to something I remember Keith mentioning, that we had our high court, blah, 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 who say that they should be the closure of the border. Really, did this really happen? That's where we go back to that conversation. And of course, as we talk about this, looking at what is happening in Kenya and what led to, or rather, which part of the country was attacked, that the Kenyan forces actually had to respond and on time. I'm going to be taking you back to the dark truth behind the Kenyan war with Al-Shabaab. Of course, the radicalization, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, that is based on the video, and of course, the lies that come with it. And already beginning of the video, I've already caught up so many lies that the government of Kenya has used as a tactic, and of course, of Somalia as well, and with the other international communities or countries working together, how they came and lied to us that they closed the border, but we can see that actually that our troops were still active in the country. So the question is why? The question is why were our troops or the Kenyan forces still active in Somali despite the Kenya-Somali border being actually closed down? So we're going to be actually looking at that. But our major conversation shall be going actually to Burkina Faso. Not major, but part of the conversation, we're going to be focusing on Burkina Faso. As you can see, Ibrahim Traore, how is actually working or with herbalists to bring back traditional medicines. I think I keep on talking about health every Wednesday, every Thursday, and sometimes Wednesday. And we've been covering, of course, many shows on so many plants, many seeds that are beneficial to you in different ways of health. And of course, speaking of health, we also have organic supplements here as well, which again, like I said, I'll be telling you about in a few. But also talking about health, I'll be coming back with a very interesting video. This video actually was very interesting. I had to listen to it like 5 times for me to understand what this lady was talking about. So I don't know how many of you know about the lotus bath, the placenta tree. The placenta tree, which actually you can use for lotus bath, where you don't cut the baby's umbilical cord, but you just, the placenta, but you let it dry and until it falls out, and you drop it on that particular plant that you want it to grow with, if it's the lotus or if it's an apple or whatever. You allow it to grow with the baby. And this, of course, is where we can look at the syncing of us and nature and plants and so many things. So I'll be going back to that. I don't have so much details about it, but I thought I should share it. And of course, I'll be sharing a couple of few videos that are explaining that. Much more of the conversation, attention drawn from Uganda. As we can see, we have, that is the Ugandan presidential candidate who say that they're looking forward to ban Swahili. He said that we shall ban Swahili, and I will be seeing what is his reason. Much more of the conversation as well coming from Nigeria. Reports actually report that Nigeria's stock market is now the best performing equity market in the world this year. And the question is, where is the money and why is Nigeria still lacking behind? We have Ramaphosa, part of the conversation as well, who has gone to France, of course, to honor the World War I. It's crazy. We're so focused on other countries' intentions of unity or peace, but not our very own. And still looking at that, where we have the South Africans themselves who are mourning the sports star Jaden Adams. That is, of course, the South Africa. He was, I think, the defender. Was it the defender or the referee? One of the two. And they're saying that he died under unknown circumstances. Personally, I'll give my 2 thoughts about it. We have the RSF chief, Mohammed Hamdan, who has been sentenced to death in absentia. We're going to be looking at that as we dive into Kenya, the conversation about the Al-Shabaab. But with that being said, grab yourself some amazing supplements that we have on our app. We have them in different categories. We have proteins, we have vitamins, we have skincare products. Depends on what you're looking for. Just ensure you read these instructions right and correct. And the only way you can get that again is by downloading the app. But for now,
unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3 and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Now, as we speak of health, I'm going to start with this amazing video here of these two amazing couples who I bumped into this video yesterday when I was on TikTok, and it really caught my attention. Like, I had to watch it multiple of times to understand what this is. And still, I think I got a bit of information, but I'm like, wow, it's crazy. We really don't know this. And it's also very beautiful at the same time to see that we still have people who have so much knowledge, information, who are so much tapped spiritually and into nature, and understand so many things, that how nature can protect us, how nature can provide to us in every sort of way. So I'm just going to allow them to talk, and then I'm going to share maybe a couple of videos of some people who have this information, because I really don't think Africans have this information for real. This is something personally I bumped into for the first time yesterday. But let me know on the comment section for those who are with us and joining us this morning or other afternoon from my end, 5 minutes past 2 p.m. Let me know what you think about this, or rather, did you have this information?
So come check out the placenta tree. It's been 4 months now. Come on, come on, come on. So we're just letting the placenta dry out. And look at Papa, man. Oh, it's my baby. So this the new baby we bought yesterday. Cara oranges. And what we're finna do is repot it, put the placenta in there, and this tree is gonna grow up with the baby. And here is our Cara orange tree. Look at all that new growth. Look at that. Look how big and beautiful those leaves are. So this whole stem right here is the new sprout. Healthy. And here is the Lotus birth baby, where we kept his placenta attached. He is 4 months, all breast milk. Plant-based. Okay, we got all kind of comments like, oh, they're gonna come take the placenta, or they're gonna take the baby, or that baby gonna be sick, and all kind of things. That temporary organ was created in my body to give him life and to feed him, etc., and keep him alive.
And it goes back to the same conversation I think we were having last week, and when I was sharing on Friday about the avocado, and the lady was explaining it so well, and also with the help of Kitty made us understand what she was explaining, that the trees women are like trees, women are like trees, and so are trees like women. There's how we're connected to nature in a way we really don't understand, and it's really mind-blowing when you get yourself to learn this information. I don't know if I'm making sense, right? It's really mind-blowing. That is what actually understood from this video just itself. And I'm like, what more is outside there that we really don't have idea on how powerful it is to us, and how powerful it can work for us, at the same time. There is so much, because this is information my whole life. I always brag about some few information I've known, grown up, traditionally seen, being performed and all that, but this is something I've never heard of or seen of personally. It's not in the Bible, of course. It's not in the sciences, these books or the education of today. And I bet, again, not so many people have this information. Not so many. And that's how I'm so interested in hearing, maybe after the show, and I'm going to go back to the comments, or maybe during the show, those who are going to catch up with this, to let me know how many of you had this information, that actually you instead of you cutting the placenta's baby, you can just put it, let it dry, and then once it falls off, you can put it somewhere with the tree you want to grow, and it grows the same as the baby. It's so, so beautiful. I feel like it's really, shout out to someone who said on the comment section, this is such a real flex. It is such a flex that you can't understand, man.
It fell off naturally. That's the lotus bird. And then we gave it back to the earth by putting it in the plant. And guess what? When he eat an orange off that tree, if he's sick, it's going to heal his body. That's what the ancestors did. So that's just a little bit of facts about a lotus birth. Don't judge. Just ask questions, okay? 4 months postpartum. Plant-based. Best John's family. Period.
Yeah, and I just love how the husband is so supportive. It's just so cute. And looking at the comment section, someone, of course, said, oh, some comments I was looking at yesterday, some people are saying this is such a flex, the healthy living and rich in the spirit. Exactly. Because this is so beautiful. Imagine maybe how many diseases nature can get rid of if our parents had this kind of knowledge. I don't know, I'm trying to assume. Imagine how many sicknesses, diseases would actually escape, or flus or fevers our bodies would naturally get rid of, because we're connected to something that is out there, not only growing with us, but protecting us. It's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Personally, just knowing all this is just super amazing. And being a woman, man, it's beautiful. As much as I'm not really looking forward to, of course, having babies and all that, maybe if I will, I'd love to use this kind of information when it comes to that particular time. But also someone says, how long did you keep the placenta attached to him? Like she said, that was 4 months, because you can see the video from when the baby was young and then until he turned 4 months old, literally. And yeah, so many positive comments. Someone says, I bet your kids are one of the healthiest on earth. And then someone says, mine was buried with a coconut tree in Jamaica on my land, and I am almost 40, literally. And you can imagine probably how healthy she is. This is so beautiful. But maybe just a few information again about it for those who didn't know. Let me just share a bit of it from people.
Lotus birth. Hey, beautiful. Let's talk about lotus birth. A lotus birth is when baby is born and you keep the placenta attached to the baby. You do not cut the umbilical cord. Well, why wouldn't you cut the umbilical cord? Ew. Because the umbilical cord is filled with amazing stem cells. Do you know that they sell cord blood from babies for thousands of dollars?
Imagine. And they're saying she says stem cells are used in lots of medical practices, cell regeneration, and cancer patient. This is information we really have no idea about. So imagine how many cancer patients would use this. And I kind of, probably white people know about it. And that's why they brought this system, because if you go back, probably also maybe our placentas never used to be cut back then, before white people came into to destroy our lives. I'm assuming.
When they chop your placenta off, please understand that they are extracting the stem cells and that cord blood and making money off of it. Why not give all that good stuff to your baby? I ain't gonna lie to you. In a hospital, please do not expect to keep your placenta. That's just period.
Exactly. And this is why, because now thinking about it, probably this is why they banned the midwives. The midwives. Wakunga, as we call it in Swahili, wakunga, right? They help the women who used to help other women to give birth naturally and with ease. And that's why I go back to the same conversation I've had before about how a woman is supposed to be having birth. And I came to understand and learn that apparently how women give birth today, this is again some practical that was being done by a white person. It's always, again, everything that is happening today that is affecting so many people's lives and how it is done, it still goes back to the white people, how they have tampered with so much, and that has been adapted today, that people are living like it's what should be or was the norm. Yet it wasn't. Women are supposed to be giving birth while standing. That's approved. If not standing, when you're squatting. That is the easiest way to give birth. This structure of you lay on your back and all that pain, nah. That's why we have this system which has banned the wakunga. How they call the midwives? Yeah, they call the midwives, right? The midwives, yeah. I'm trying to look the English. I think I'm mispronouncing. I don't know. I think I'm saying the wrong name of English, but it's the midwives. I think so. Yeah, but we call them wakunga. So it explains, because if you go to a midwife, of course, and then she knows this, she'll tell you you're not supposed to cut the placenta, because she comes from a generation of knowledge on how to help you not only give birth, but also what you're supposed to do after birth, right? But when you go to this white system, racist system, how it is set up, not only was a woman being observed while she was giving birth because a white man wanted to feel some pleasure out of it, but now you have your placenta cut. So it's, again, man, history is really important. But let's continue.
They are going to try to convince you that your placenta is medical waste, and then they're going to try to persuade you into delayed cord clamping. They're going to say, oh, after a few seconds, nothing even travels to the baby. But as soon as they chop it off your baby, it'll be in a laboratory for research or sold to the rich for stem cells. In my tradition, we use certain herbs to coat the placenta so that it's antiviral and antibacterial.
Look at how healthy that baby is, just climbing everywhere. This is just some beautiful, beautiful information. And for me, if I was to push for Afrocentric education when it comes to because for us we learn adolescence and all these things to do with pregnancy at grade 6, which you guys would call maybe class 6. Yeah, we learn these things at class 6, and then maybe when you're in class 8, I think also class 8, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 6, 8. Yeah, we learn these all things. So if we were to push for Afrocentric education or understanding real science and to do with our body, because again, Black people, we are dealing with a system of people who have created things that don't actually work well on our bodies, right? When you talk about the medicine, personally, and this is how you know somehow you're also protected by the universe or by your ancestors, or I don't know, man. Because for me, I hated drugs from when I was a child. Like, I really, you see those kids who throw drugs like behind the bed. I used to be those kids. And I'm sick, suffering for real. I'm dying, but I'm still not gonna finish my medication. Till to date, I have that problem, to the point where now that I'm grown, I've had to convince myself, hey, not every problem, actually, in chat to also someone so close to me for helping me understand that, not every problem you have to take to the hospital. Sometimes your body is just reacting, and it's our bodies. It could be something you ate, it could be something you took, and sometimes our bodies are just bodies, sometimes. And if you're not living, of course, a healthy life throughout, like what the other guy was showing us, eating watermelon and all that, of course your body is going to be messed up. It's going to be messed up big time. But if you're eating healthy, there's so many things you're gonna avoid and all that. So it's really, really, it's really beautiful to know all this, that we have still ways we can go back to and depend on. But again, that information, where it can be tapped, is where the problem is. Because when you're talking about still introducing Afrocentric education, this information has to go back to really well-informed people. We can't rely on the same system to do research for us. The same people have done research on ways to kill us to help us. So we have to find people who have so much information, connected spiritually, and in ancestral ways of living for us to be able to tap into this. But speaking of healthy ways of living, we have Ibrahim Traore on this other end, who is working with herbalists to bring traditional medicines into modern healthcare. And like I said, this of course goes back to, again, our old ways of living, how we used to depend on nature to cure us. I love going back to a conversation I shared some time back, I think in 2024 or 2023, I think it was 2024, when I shared that video of the South African, some South African herbalist women, and how they went into detail saying how they don't just go to the farm or go to nature and go smelling herbs and saying that this is the one to cure your issue, this is the one, they say they had to be getting these messages and knowledge through dreams. These messages come to them on which trees to tap into to help a certain person with whatever they're dealing with. And that's how they had to go back to nature and do research of whatever tree they have been shown through their dreams. Do you understand how powerful that is? It sounds like some movie shit, man. It sounds like some movie shit, but this is all real. This is all real. So shout to the working president, the only working president in Africa, who is trying to do things the African way. Because why the hell do we follow white people's ways of living? Why the hell? Why the hell do we follow white people's ways of living? But it's all people know at the same time. So many generations of so much washed away information to the point it's become a norm, right? But yeah, Burkina Faso is taking a major step towards preserving its traditional medical heritage, by bringing together more than 1,000 herbalists under a government-led initiative backed by President Ibrahim Traore. Exactly. Not backed by the good bank people, not backed by the private investors, not backed by the IMF nor the World Bank, not backed by France or US, backed by themselves. Now, let me take you back. We go back to looking at America few months ago when they were pushing African countries to accept a certain large amount of money in dollars to curb situations like, pandemics, HIV, malaria, and other maybe to develop type of diseases, right? And we saw countries like Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, the whole alliance said no. We saw countries like Zimbabwe said no. Zambia said no. And a few to mention. But countries like Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, South Africa, and the rest said yes to this huge amount of money. And of course, so how do you escape? How do you expect to escape a system that is continuously keeping you in trap to keep depending on them as they kill you? Because the only way Ibrahim Traore can escape this trap is because, number one, he said no to the trap itself. He said, no, you're not going to continue funding our medication. You guys are killing us. You guys are doing research on how to kill us every single day. So why should we keep on depending on you? They're saying that the goal is to document generation of knowledge about medical plants, subject it to scientific research and safety testing, and explore how effective remedies can be developed into standardized medicines. And for centuries, we have traditional medicines, which has been the primary form of healthcare for many African communities. Not really that many. It depends what percentage also we're talking about, because we know a high percentage of Africans really depend on this white structure of medical system. That is just the truth. If you go back to, and that's why we have people like, I'd say for Kenya, like we have a tradition like Maasai. The Maasai community are very high on traditional medicines. If we go further from that, I don't really know, being honest. I'll give the Maasai community props because these are the people you'll find walking on the road till to date. It's 2026. Till to date, selling herbs for stomach, for diarrhea, for ulcers, Personally, I really don't believe them because they have become too smart. Some of them, they no longer sell really good herbs. You might take these herbs and you go diarrhea your whole life. So I don't trust all of them, being honest, and especially the Nairobi ones. Nairobi ones are too smart. I'd rather go to a Maasai who is living in the village and has so much access to nature than someone who is in Nairobi. People are too sharp, smart. So no. So yes, the same for century traditional medicine has been the primary form of healthcare for many African communities, and the initiative aims to ensure this knowledge is preserved, validated, and strengthened through modern science rather than lost over time. By combining indigenous experts with medical research, Burkina Faso hopes to build a healthcare system that draws both its cultural heritage and scientific innovation. And this is literally some beautiful news to see coming from one African country. At least there's something working. There's something working. And I really hope it goes further to him developing medicines that can help patients of maybe cancer, HIV, so many diseases that we've been told by the West they cannot be cured, or we only have to keep on depending on them to be cured. Yet they're the same people who have brought these diseases here. You can't expect someone who's trying to kill you to help you when you're dying. They are the reason of actually your death. But you go to the same person asking for rescue. That's how we sound. The same people have been continuously trying to kill us. They're the same people giving us solutions. So we have to say no. So shout to Burkina Faso again and again and again. And the comment people say this is a true leader. Of course he is. Someone says the West is going to be pissed. Of course they will be pissed. They will be pissed. Because how dare you? Mind you, they have been banning all these kind of moves. How dare you? How dare you? Someone says, watch Burkina Faso become the Japan of Africa. This man is about to take Burkina Faso to the next level. Exactly. And another person says, this man impresses me more and more. Does he have a wife? I know. Me too. I'm asking for a sister. Sister, I know. I know. Because he's just marable, He's just, this is someone you'd literally dedicate your life to because, he has intentions. Not just intentions, but intentions, good intentions. Good intentions. He has ambitions. He has a direction, He's just marvelous. Someone says also all medicines come from natural remedies of the earth, and they got rid of it to make chemical ones, adding poisons, of course. And it's that is the big pharma, of course, which is also behind all this, and all to make a profit from making you sick, not curing, only managing and suppressing illness. Exactly. And there's no money in healthy people. Exactly. This is giving Keith how he says it. There's no money when people are healthy. So when you're telling people to go back to natural remedies, there's no money that is going to be made because people are depending on nature. They create patients for life from childhood vaccines and any other. And after that, the COVID vaccines are also approved, or how they kill you. Well done, Traore, for putting the people before profit. Exactly. And sadly, most of our puppets we've seen saying no to good health. They'd rather continue keeping us in a system of death, because that's what it is, death. A system of death. Because how do we call it? It is a system of death. But those are positive news, at least coming from Burkina Faso, and of course, looking at the other video this particular morning or during this particular weekend. But moving to now our puppets, we have Uganda. Uganda presidential candidate Mubarak Munyangwa, that is his name. During a campaign speech that was on September 2025, Common Man's Party presidential candidate Munyangwa proposed scrapping Swahili as Uganda's national language in favor of French and English. So it's crazy I didn't even see this video. I don't know how I didn't see this video last year, but it's going viral. It's going viral, and that's why I decided I'm gonna share it. And I'm like, who thinks backward like this? It's only our puppets who do. Trust me. I say it's only our puppets who do this. Who thinks backward like this? Proposing that we should scrap away Swahili to introduce French and English. Ugandans can barely speak proper English, leave alone even English. Ugandans can barely speak proper Swahili. And I'm not shaming Ugandans. That is just the truth. That is just the truth. Ugandans can barely speak proper Swahili, leave alone English. And even when they're talking that English, you'll literally be struggling to hear. I mean, shout out to Maria. She could talk good English. Shout out to Setu. But majority, and this is just facts, they don't know how to talk English or Swahili. They are pathetic at it. Sadly. Instead of you trying to find ways on how you can strengthen Swahili in your country to make it easy, especially for the East African people, when your people come to other countries, how we can communicate. We're talking about ways of trading. Having this Dangote oil refinery company, that is a way of us, number one, trading, if it's going to be beneficial. Like I said, if it is going to be beneficial. I still wonder if it is going to be beneficial. This is how you strengthen a language so that you can make trading easier. But no, you think us talking Shalabajojo is better and talking English. It's crazy. The proposal sparked fierce debate across East Africa, of course. Supporters viewed French as a strategic gateway to stronger regional and international opportunities. I wonder how, which opportunities? Them coming here to steal our gold, that is what we call opportunities. And them calling you all type of N-words and monkeys, that is us, how we grab opportunities. Oh, and while critics argue that removing Swahili would undermine cultural identity and weaken East Africa integration, of course, that is what it is aiming. That is what this, that is what he's aiming. Swahili was declared a national language in 2022 by Yoweri Museveni to strengthen Ugandan ties with East African communities, making Munyangwa's, it sounds like his name, which sounds like an idiot, proposal one of the most controversial language policy debates ahead of the 2026 election. And the comments, or people in the comment section were like, can you not add French without banning Swahili? And why should we add French? That is the question. Why do we want to be so white related? Like, why do we want to be so related to white people's behavior and cultures? Like, why can't we just accept who we are? What is it with being African and knowing your own language and being in love with it? Man, I pity people who really fail to love themselves being African. I really do. I really, really do. Why are you so ashamed of being African, talking Swahili, having how is it called? What is it called? How is our hair called? When it's, why are you ashamed? Why are you ashamed of being black? Because that's what it's giving, according to me. This is giving self-hate. This is giving self-hate, shame. It's like you're ashamed of where you're coming from, who you are. So you'd rather be talking French so you can sound like Macron and you can feel like you're related. No, you're not. And he'll tell you straight on your face, no, you're not. And then someone also says, one thing I've noticed across African government, their vocabulary never contains words like build, create, maintain, upgrade, invest. It only contains words like ban, expel, destroy, explore, jail, lock, etc. Always like they want to bring down rather than live the standards of the life of the people. Exactly. Actually, I love that comment because he said it very well. African governments' vocabularies, they never contain words like build, create, maintain, upgrade, invest. They contain words like ban, expel, destroy, exploit, jail, and lock, etc. That is so true. So crazy. Super, super crazy. Listen to these idiots here.
We shall ban it. We need French instead. French has a wider coverage. Burundi, they speak French.
So,
Congo, they speak French.
Do you understand history? What history do you understand? Oh my God. We can't be this stupid. Oh my. This is such a shame. This is such a shame. What do you understand about history? What do you understand about history based on these countries you're talking about? They talk French. Okay, let's continue.
Rwanda, they speak French. Congo Brazzaville, they speak French. Gabon, they speak French.
Why? Do you know why?
Central Africa.
Do you think they just woke up one day and do you think we just also woke up one day as East Africa and we decided we want to study, we want to learn English, we want to be talking English? Do you understand history of colonialism? What colonization did and left or did? Do you understand or you don't? And this is how you understand we're dealing with really. Oh my God, this is how we have grade 2 dropouts leading countries' opposition, sadly. Sadly, and this is true. This is true. This is how we have grade 2, grade 1, grade 5 dropouts leading certain positions of these countries. And then you wonder why foreign investors, as they call them, will come and decide they're going to be signing a deal with this country of exploiting, because that is the right term, resources from a certain region for 30 years. And a grade 2 dropout and another grade 2 dropout who's the president's advisor. And then, of course, the president himself being stupid too and a puppet. So let's add a stupid puppet of a president and then a grade 2 advisor of the president, and then you have the minister of foreign the minister of mining of resources, who is a grade 2 also dropout, and they all say yes without reading because they can't read, of course. And when they read, what do you expect them to understand? Wow, this is such a shame.
In public, they speak French. We don't need Swahili. We need English and French. We shall ban Swahili as our national language. We shall ban it. We need French instead. French has a wider coverage. Burundi, they speak French. Congo, they speak French. Rwanda, they speak French. Congo Brazzaville, they speak French. Gabon, they speak French. Central African Republic, they speak French. We don't need Swahili. We need English and French. We shall ban Swahili as our national language.
Yeah, so that is what the presidential candidate of Uganda was saying. Yeah. So this is just super crazy. Those are the and probably I bet he's vying for that seat again. Yeah, I bet he's vying for that seat again with this kind of mindset. When other nations are talking about unity, bringing back their languages, going back to ways of understanding and valuing you being Africa and your country and your... We have people who are talking about more of division, invite the colonial language in your country. This is just so crazy. And you wonder why Uganda also is so behind? Why Uganda has a leader who has been there for decades? Man. No, this is just super, super crazy. But moving on from that, we have Nigeria, which I question where this money or benefits, profits are going. And we have Mr. Blackwood. You have 5 minutes of your time in this broadcast. And Karibu Sana, how are you doing today?
So we start with the xenophobia.
No, you didn't do your show, so this is my time. You didn't do your show. You want to hop on my shows? No, no, no. It's not
I know,
allowed.
I know it's my fault. I got no excuse this time. You're right.
Carry.
Yeah, Caribou. I just want to say this one thing for this individual. It's more talking French. French is a dying language. He's paid. See, French is keep influence. That's why the Chinese got you want to speak Chinese language. This is called for influence. Um, this is called influence. Hold on, hold on. Give me a second.
Okay. All right. But
I'm still. Hold on, let me a second.
okay.
Let me just tell the more something. Let me know. Yeah. Okay. So what this moron's done? This. It's called shame to be African. Most of Congo doesn't speak French. It speaks Lingala and Swahili. See, so what he's saying, he wants to keep the colonizer language. And remember, this language is dying because France is dying. It's not really a superpower. Never has been a superpower since 220 years ago, really. But as far as our real power, it's dying because they're being kicked out of Africa. Most parts of Africa. So they go on the east, trying to, hey, let's incorporate the French language as a like that's stupid. Why? France don't make nothing. France is broke. France is going to start going to IMF like African countries to get money because it's broke. Doesn't make anything. So what is this moron talking about? This doesn't make any sense. Swahili is the language you should be speaking because Africa is the one on the come up, not on the decline. France is on the decline. So it wouldn't make any sense to speak no damn French. It only makes sense like even Terrain doing getting rid of it. They're getting rid of it. You shouldn't keep it. Why would you be keep it? It's not a English is the international business language and not for long. This is gonna be Chinese then Swahili because Africa's gonna dominate the next half of the century. So whatever African language, that's gonna be the dominant language. So what he's saying is this what Troy calls saloon slaves. What's this guy? Where's that? Ugandan?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. This ain't make any sense. Who Uganda was even colonized by the French. So why would you take another white man's language on? See, he's been paid by the French to say crazy. This one ain't make any sense. It's not even your language in your own country. So why would you talk? We all should get and then tell you get rid of the most populous African language that's been around for thousands of years. See, all European languages are new. English is new. French is new. Because remember, these were all savages. Couldn't speak, couldn't read and write. So they had undeveloped languages. But this is a saloon slave being bought up by the French. He's a moron. But this will go nowhere. Because even the Africans, the bootlicking butt that's Africans like, what? Why would I take on a language that has no power? Why would I do that? That's the only reason why Africans took on the Islam shit when it was on the rise. They got rid of their own Africans just for that goopy Islam shit because it was on the rise. They started speaking that goopy Arabic language. Why would I turn to a language that's on the decline? Put this up, Joe, real quick. Say French as a language, ask Google to say French as a language is on the decline because France is no longer considered a global power. But he still think all Africans are stupid. Just say stupid shit because white people paid his ass.
They're saying globally the numbers of speakers is growing, but its use is dropping in specific areas. Total speakers may reach up to 700 million by 2050, largely due to population growth in Africa.
Okay, that's why he wants to get it's on the decline, Joby. It changed on the decline. That's why they want to put it in Africa. It only grows if you put it in Africa. It's on the decline. Why would I take a damn declining language that's people about to be impoverished in France? In other ways, it can grow because you got this moron and French spies telling Africa, hey, put this language in, put our language in, put our language in. Because if you're speaking somebody's language, Joby, in your mind, they dominate you. They're the dominant people, not you.
That is so true. And that's what I'm saying. I don't understand what is it with the African people hating, because it's also giving self-hate and
it is. That's exactly what it is.
To be white related so bad, you know, because I've seen it personally, of course, especially when I was in college, because I remember when in college and doing hospitality, you have to learn these languages. There is a French, and I don't remember the other one, but French was part of it. And personally, I said, no, I don't want to learn French. I'm cool. I actually said no. I don't know why. I saw it quite of a difficult subject, but also I'm like, no. But people used to do the subject. It used to be like a flex. And I've seen it even till today. A good example actually is Iwaton. I'm not even going to lie. It used to sound like it's a flex for her, you know, because she can talk some French or the few words she knows. I'm like, this is not a flex. It's not supposed to be a flex, sadly, but Africans always want to, you know, want to be so close to the white people, and you feel like if you're talking their language, you know, they hear you talking their language, it's going to make you more loved, more accepted, less of a nigger. You still are a black person, sadly, you know, and this is what exactly I'm seeing.
What's even deeper than that, Joe? They don't care. They already know you're a nigger. It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
The language to make sure you speak their language and worship them and their ways. So you're gonna dream. You're gonna adhere to their ways, Joby. That's it. And then that's what they're trying to do. So they know they're dying. They're dying empire. So what they're trying to do is like they say in Google, it's dying. You say, oh, but the growth would be in Africa. If Africa accepts the shit, why would it grow in Africa? I'm not French. I'm not from France. Are you accepting Swahili?
Exactly. But yes, as we move on from that conversation,
you don't see the white French accepting Swahili. Oh, let's learn Swahili in France. They're not. You don't bow to another person's language.
Exactly. As we move on, we have Nigeria report.
I know Jibba Jabba Jibba's gonna give me a timer. I'm out.
You're stop. The best performance.
Sorry about that. I'm not gonna give you a timer, but yes, I've noticed.
Your ass ain't sorry, but I'm gone.
No, if Kid doesn't do his shows, like you see last week, he hopped on all my shows because he didn't do his show.
I knew you gonna say that. Only came in on 3 shows, Joey. You can forget that.
It's okay. But yes, we have some reports about Nigeria's stock market, which is making major headlines around the world. And haters are saying that this is AI, of course, and all that. It's not. But the question is also, how comes Nigeria is not, we're not seeing those also major transitions when it comes to industrialization, job opportunities, creation, so much that it's not happening. But let's listen to this lady.
Equity market in the world this year. So the more precise version, in my opinion, is that Nigeria's benchmark index has returned about 67% in US dollar terms since the start of the year, ranking first among 92 global equity indices tracked by Bloomberg, right? Not going to lie, kind of a big deal, but the ranking is not the only thing that matters. What it could mean for ordinary Nigerians matters even more. Right? More ordinary people appear to be paying attention to shares. More people are thinking about wealth building, and the stock market no longer feels like something reserved for bankers, brokers, and rich uncles in Ikoyi, right? That's important because a strong country needs citizens who can save, invest, and build wealth through formal markets. But here's where I'll pull out my magnifying glass, right? Because even so-called zombie firms have been swept into the boom. Unicorn Die Consort has barely produced anything for almost 20 years, but its share price has been moving like the business is alive and thriving. The stock was reportedly up almost 250% this year. Losses have been piling up. Its largest shareholder reportedly cannot even be reached. And even executives reportedly cannot explain the hype, right? In simple terms, the price is running ahead of the business. Now, to be clear, one strange stock doesn't define the whole Nigerian market. And this is not me saying Nigerians shouldn't invest at all, right? Nigerians should absolutely invest. A serious country needs people who own assets.
But it won't. It won't invest. It won't. That is exactly. It won't invest. And that's why I go back to the same comment we've read on the other video. African leaders never have their vocabularies never have anything to do with build, invest, upgrade. They always have ban, exploit, collaboration, good bank people like Ruto, and that's it. When do we talk about where we actually build or upgrade our countries, invest in our countries, using our own resources or what? Because what is this whole hype about? I don't see any change in Nigeria despite this. I'm just saying.
Not just people surviving on a salary, but price and value are not always the same thing. Price is what people are willing to pay today, and value is what the business can actually justify. Speculation is not unique to Nigeria, by the way. Every market has moments where hype runs ahead of value. In normal English, right? It's like everybody rushing to buy a piece of a shop because the price keeps going up without asking what the shop even sells or whether it's making money. That is why before you buy a piece of a company, you need to understand what that company actually does. Regulators, brokers, investing apps, banks, schools, listed companies, and even media all have a role here, right? Because investor education is part of financial inclusion. This is bigger than one strange stock. This is about Nigeria building a serious investing culture where ordinary people don't just buy shares, they understand what they are buying. Anyway, let's talk in the comment section. What are your thoughts here? I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to read.
My thoughts are...
Let me say something real quick. Don't go crazy on me. Joey's right. So Joey said, how do you find out, Joe, they don't have nothing yet? This is why Africa doesn't have anything called invest. Maintain. What's the other thing you said not in the vocabulary? Where'd you find that from?
Build, invest, maintain,
yes,
upgrade.
Really
But they always have ban, expel, exploit, collaborate, cooperate, all those kind of terms. There's never investment.
And Joey's right. They never make. That's why South Africa's falling apart. And other they don't maintain. There's no maintenance. That's why you got flooding and shit. No upgrading. It's like it's not part of the vocabulary. It's crazy. They don't. You got flooding in Nairobi, flooding in Accra, flooding in Nigeria, because they don't maintain shit. You know, the white man gave. It wasn't flooding like this in Nairobi when the white man controlled it. It wasn't flooding in Accra like this when the white man controlled Ghana. Or the white man controlled Nigeria. They don't maintain shit.
Exactly.
They just keep stealing. It's crazy.
Exactly. So of course expect Nigeria to not benefit from all that type of their stock market going up or anything. It's benefits of course a white man somewhere.
And change. You're right. We got to change the culture. Nigeria. I'm glad because I said we got Joe came able with the African job. I said, you insane. Nigeria's so effed up. Nigeria's a failed state. It really doesn't work as a country because the morons that have run into the ditch. It could have been 30 years, 40 years ago, but it's a failed state. It doesn't work. The terrorists in there are white people. They know, and the government's behind it, helping them. They know nobody can't defeat terrorists. So that's why you got on the bottom of the Sahel state, and they're now defeating the terrorists because they just by experience, by fighting, they know, oh, white people are doing this. Duh. White people control these things. Yes. I mean, it don't take long to come to that conclusion. I don't know why it took them that long. But I knew from the beginning. But I said, it should take that long that you're terrorists that are kidnapping women or white governments and the white groupie Nigerians that are involved in it. Because you could have been wiped it out. Ben did it. But, hey, and Nigeria doesn't work as a country. It won't work. That's why everybody's fleeing. Why Nigerians are everywhere. one thing about Nigerians, they're weak, they're cowardly people, and they worship white people. So you got a cowardly people that worship your enemy. Oh, you got that recipe is dangerous. You can't develop a country. You worship your enemy, and you're cowardly. It's just a fact. Even they'll tell you now that they finally been, but I've been there. They worship white people. You worship your enemy, and then your men are cowardly. You're cowardly people. You can't create a country. Talking about an African giant. Yeah, just because you put your penis in more women, don't make you a giant.
Wow. It's the recipe. That recipe doesn't work. It's crazy. But moving on as we get into our conversation of the day, we have Ramaphosa, who has gone to France to honor the World War One that is the fallen soldiers, literally. South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa has honored the country's World War One soldiers at the South African National Memorial, France, marking 110 years since the Battle of the Delville, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, would. And he said that the sacrifice to those who fought must never be forgotten. This idiot is busy. It's crazy. These African puppets will go make peace, try find peace, ensure that the rest of the world has peace than their continent, their countries.
Exactly. That's what they're talking about. That exactly. Because remember, they're weak. African, these African men are weak, Joe. They're cow, and you already seen it when Trump was talking to this motherfucker crazy. Okay, you're killing white people over there, you boy. Well, I wasn't doing that. Let me show you. I got some white officials talk to the white master for me.
The issue of xenophobia is barely over in his country. He is barely to apologize and make a statement that the rest of the Africans are demanding him.
Ruto's trying to get like, did you hear Ruto?
Saying what?
You didn't see it? Well, I'm usually pretty good. What would you do? Ruto was talking about the South Africans. He said, hey, you're going to have to leave Kenya. You're going to have to, because now, you guys don't know that they repatriated between 5 to 1,000 Kenyans. And Ruto came out and said, all you South Africans are going to have to leave Kenya. And you're going to have to go. You got so much time. I said, he's trying to get elected. He sounded all tough. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm not buying that shit.
He did say it. I'm not saying he go. I'm just saying what he said.
They say everything. These people say anything.
Of course, because it makes him look tough. I said he's doing it because it's good politics right now. Make him look tough because South Africa beating up on Kenyans and killing them. Kenyans are coming back. They almost some of the people that burnt all their shit up and killing them in the streets. Kenyans are coming back with them stories on the news.
He better shut the fuck up. He never cared. Didn't care from the word go. He's now talking because now Kenyans are talking. He's talking because this man and the rest of his people who are working under him, what they do is they copy and paste what Kenyans are saying because it's going viral, and our country things will go viral very quick. So as a president, you can't act stupid and dumb that you're not hearing what people are saying. Kenyans were mad because our government was not responding on them repatriating the people until people rose their voices and questioned what is our Minister of Foreign Affairs doing. Just there in America taking pictures
and your minister you got to look it up. Your minister said something too. Yeah, because people didn't know it was that many Kenyans down in South Africa. There's a bunch of y'all down there. So it was like it's more y'all than Ghanaians. And so your look what your foreign minister said too. So because it's a bunch of Kenyans, they were over thousands of them down there. Shit, they were getting treated bad.
Yeah. Anything just for the clout. Anything. They are very good at it. Very good.
Like they're doing something, Joey.
Yeah. Until Kenyan spoke. That is just what we underline. Moving on to the next conversation, we have, of course, the main conversation which I want us to focus on, the Al-Shabaab, how they've been in Kenya. Yeah, the Al-Shabaab. So we have during the weekend some attacks that were reported in a nearby camp that is in Kenya, and where the Kenyan forces were forced to actually react. They're saying that the Kenyan Special Operations Group killed 11 Al-Shabaab militants in a pre-dawn raid on a camp near the Kenyan-Somali border, according to the security operation described by KDRTV. The report said that the camp housed around 30 fighters allegedly preparing to attack on a border village in Mandera County, and the SGO operation carried out on a ground assault backed by aerial surveillance, killing 11 militants and critically wounding 7 others, while the rest fled back across the border into Somalia. According to the same account, 3 PKM machine guns and roughly 409 rounds of ammunition were recovered from the site. And the operation would follow a pattern of intelligence-led raids by the elite counter-terrorism unit, which works with the National Intelligence Service and has repeatedly targeted temporarily Al-Shabaab assembly points along the border in recent months. And it comes amid the heightened patrols following the recapture of the senior Al-Shabaab commander by Somali special forces near the frontier. Now, I want to check onto something very quickly. If the High Court did really ban the Kenya-Somali border being opened or closed. Let's see. Kenya High Court bans Kenya-Somali border reopening. Let's see. Let's check on that. Let's see. So according to Google, is that the Kenyan government did not. So I don't know. Keith, you told me some information last few weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, that the Kenyan High Court said that they had banned Kenya-Somali border being reopened. If I got that right, it was you who told me, and I said no.
Yeah, they closed
They did not.
They closed it because they said it was too dangerous. Because as soon as they opened it, they said the Somalians are already coming across, causing damage. So they said they got to close it. They don't care what Ruto says. It's the army chief said it's just too dangerous to keep it open because it's still too volatile. As soon as they opened it, it was already Al-Shabaab crossing the border and causing chaos in northwest Kenya. And now we got to close this shit. We don't care what he's talking about, trying to get Somali votes.
Based on reports, the Kenyan government did not halt border reopening due to the High Court ban. Instead, President William Ruto suspended. And this is not temporarily.
He can call the name whatever he wants to call it. He's calling it suspended. The name doesn't make it's closed. It doesn't make a difference. He can call it suspended. And so that's called semantics. That's wordplay. Because he doesn't want to say it's permanently closed. He said, "Oh, we suspended." He had to suspend it because it was already, as soon as they opened it was fucked up. That's why they had to close it real quick. The army chiefs up there in the northwest say, "Hey, I don't care what kind of election you trying to run, what you trying to do. This ain't gonna work. You got these fucking Somalis killing Kenyans again. We gonna shut this board down whether you like it or not. We don't care what you talking." Go ahead.
So looking, of course, because when the borders were reopened, or when Ruto announced the reopening of the borders, I did a whole show on that, and we checked that the Kenya-Somali borderland, the Kenya-Somali land border was originally closed in October 2011, and the Kenyan government shut it to launch a military operation to stop attacks by the Al-Shabaab military groups. While recent attempts were made to formally reopen border crossing in towns like Mandera, Liboi, and Kiunga, the plans were halted indefinitely due to ongoing security threats and political conflicts. And of course, now going back, because I want to share this video which shows now the history of Al-Shabaab in Kenya, and now they, of course, the issue of insecurity, how many people were left dead in many cases. We had the Mandera Region University, where many students, over 200 or 300 students, who were left dead. We had the Westgate, one of the malls where people were, during the day, shooting just began, and so many people lost their lives. And I think there have been 3 major attacks. I'm going to be checking on that very quickly. So it's crazy. If the border was really shut down in 2011, how comes we still had these people operating till 2024? Because according to the reports is that the the attack of the Al-Shabaab is that they wanted the Kenyan troops to leave Somali. So the Al-Shabaab kept on, attacking Kenya, targeting the Kenyan civilians so that Kenya can withdraw their troops in Somali, but which never happened. So the border was closed, but the Kenyan troops never withdrew from Somali. That's what I understood, because the Kenyan troops were in Somali approximately for 13 years and 2 months. That is from October 2011, when Kenya closed the border, because that was the 2011 when the border was closed, to December 31st, 2024. So let me share this video as we continue to learn something.
On September 21st, stormed well.
So 2013, this is after our border was closed. 2013. But still, they managed to get to Kenya. Coincidence, right?
Into a zone of terror and chaos. For 4 days, Kenyans watched in horror as Al-Shabaab gunmen moved through the mall, leaving 67 innocent civilians dead. The terrorists made their motives clear. As long as Kenyan troops remained in Somalia,
so if
Kenyan
this was really the case, because
price.
I'm trying to understand, if the Kenyan government, and specifically the Kenyan government, used this, and maybe because our countries will never make decisions without America or the white people telling us what to do, the UN and the rest, you'll always find them in our scandals or meddling in our business.
In your business, which is
exactly. So if the AU, the UN, whatever, the US was so much involved in this and collaborated with Kenya to ensure that the border was closed, and they're going to reopen the border when security is tightened, how comes still, despite the matters of security being discussed, this border, Ruto is trying to reopen it? And now, which goes back to, why were these people still in Somali? I'm trying to understand why were the Kenyan troops still in Somali? So we have the attack
the question
in 2013.
The question is, why wasn't Al-Shabaab wiped out? That's the question, Joby. It don't take 10, 15 years to wipe out terrorist groups. Why are they still? Where's their hideout at, Joby? When you're in Somalia, why don't they go to hideout and eliminate them?
This is how we catch the lies.
WikiLeaks diplomatic cables revealed that since at least 2010, the government had been considering military action as the effects of Somalia's ongoing conflict spilled across the borders, threatening the stability of the entire region. The Dadaab refugee camp in Kenya had swelled to beyond 400,000 refugees, and piracy surged across the coast. Yet, despite these growing concerns, Kenya remained hesitant to launch a full-scale intervention. When a series of kidnappings along the coast sent shockwaves through the nation, the government faced a critical decision: stand by and watch as insecurity grew out of control, or take decisive action. What happened next will change Kenya's security landscape forever. In this episode, we'll examine how a small insurgent group that rose in Somalia's Islamic courts transformed into a
Islam shit they got. Same Islam shit you got fucking in the Sahel and in fucking Nigeria. The same fake Islam shit. Where's these weapons coming from? Where's all the ammo? See the ammo they got? Where's that? Who's paying for the outfits? These niggas ain't got no money. Somali's poor. It's impoverished. So who's funding all this? Who's funding it? And then it's a small group executive said, why can't you go to their hideout and wipe them out? Because I'm talking about a bullet in everybody's head. I don't care how young you are. So, oh, this is a child fighter. He's getting a bullet in the head. You come back and meet Allah the next time. But all of them got to go. So you would, and me as, this is how you know this is all bullshit. Because there's no way you would have a terrorist country on your goddamn border and not go to war with it. Kenya was supposed to have been in a war with Somalia. These are acts of war. You can't go across the border to country, kidnap their people and kill them. That's an act of war. Unmitigated warfare. But they know the white man is doing it. That's why the shit is allowed to continue. That's an act of warfare. It's like Iran when all these other countries now attacking them. That's an act of war. You act accordingly. Not just you close the border. Not close no border with you. We're going to war. And I'm not going to stop trying to wipe your people out who are coming across the border killing my people. That's your job as a government. Imagine we had Canadians coming across our borders killing Americans, or we had Mexicans coming from the southern border. Like imagine Kenya is America. Got Tanzania on the south and Somalia or Ethiopia in the north, right? Imagine we got Canada in the north, we got Mexico in the south, and they decided to have terrorist raids across America's border. That's an act of war. I'm like, we're not going to just close the border. We're going to war. These are acts of war. So, you got motherfuckers marching around with their goopy ass mask, that Islamic bullshit. I'm wiping you out. Because I know you're unsustainable because the white man only got so much money to give you. I'm wiping your ass out. I'm declaring war on you. I'm not going to be saying, let's go handle border skirmishes. I'm going to the post list. We're going to declare war on Somalia. It's act of war. We're going to go wipe these motherfuckers out. That's what a real country does. That's what Iran is doing right now with America. That's what a real country does. It's not controlled by white people. These are acts of war. That you're going to come across the border and kill my citizens, innocent Kenyans? It's acts of war. We're not going to stop till we wipe your ass out. That's warfare. Not no, oh, these border skirmishes and all these motherfuckers, these goopy outfits on. I'm wiping all of them out. And I know Somali's poor, so Somali can't sustain no war with me. As I'm a Kenyan, I got a bigger economy. So they can't sustain no war with me. You should know that as a Kenyan. So I'm going to wipe you out.
All right, let's continue.
Regional terror network that forced Kenya into a 13-year war, costing hundreds of lives, billions of shillings, and forever changing East Africa's security landscape.
They never declared war.
Bishop.
Exactly. It's supposed to be a war. I never heard Kenya declare no war on no Somalia. It was like military intervention. They never declared war. War is total war. Coming to knock your ass in the mouth.
Sure to like the video if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel for more stories from Kenya. Somalia's descent into chaos began in January 1991 when dictators
putting bullets in their heads. They're already fucked up. They're already gone. They've been completely indoctrinated with that Islam goopy shit about this. They got to go. I'm not trying to resalvage you. All the little kids, you're getting bullets in. I told them I was in Iraq. Don't come near me. Got a bullet in the head for you. And I don't care. Okay, did you kill a kid? Motherfucking right, I did. Go ahead.
Siad Barre fled Mogadishu. His regime collapsed under the pressure from civil war, widespread opposition, and growing rebel forces. This left the country split between competing warlords. For over a decade, Somalia existed without a working central government.
And understand, this is all back. And understand, white people did all this because black people are stupid and they tribal. So because Somalia's full of resources like every other African country. Because I don't know these goofy documentaries gonna mention that. Somalia's rich of resources. The white man wanted it. These goofy Negroes are goddamn tribal. So they're gonna pit group against group as they steal their resources and keep these goofy motherfuckers impoverished. Go ahead, Joe.
Constantly fought for control, creating long-term instability. This chaos created a need for structure, eventually leading to Islamic courts stepping in as alternative justice systems. These courts led by Islamic scholars, worked across different clans, providing dispute resolution, legal judgments, and some order in a lawless country. By the early 2000s,
the goopy white Arabs and the white man worked together to destabilize these Arab niggas. That's all I already knew that. But these goopy niggas, they worship white people. They worship their white Arab masters. That's why these religions are so dangerous. They worship the motherfuckers that gave them these fake religions. And they cause them to fight. And while you got Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Saudi was stealing all the money out the countries, helping the Europeans do it. That's why the Ottoman Turks were down in this area stealing for years. And then turn these niggas into slaves. They still talking about, I worship Allah. Go ahead.
These individual courts began uniting. They formed the Islamic Courts Union, led by Sheikh Sharif Sheikh Ahmed. As this was happening, in August 2004, the Somali Transitional Federal Government.
Right there, they would tell you that they're not black, they're not African. See that nigga right there? You tell he's an Arab. Arabs don't call him Arab call him a slavery nigga, a BB. See, that's how damaged the African mind has been through domination and colonization. Minds are all fucked up. That's why the countries are fucked up. Go ahead.
Established as part of the IGAD-led process. Abdullahi Yusuf Ahmed was elected the president of the TFG of Somalia on October 10th. Did you see all the white Arabs behind him? Did you see all the white Arabs that are behind this goopy nigga? Some Arabs that were behind him. See, they worship white Arabs, and the white Arabs are the ones stealing out of the countries. That's why Sudan is fucked up. Everybody knows it's the white Arab that's stealing in the Sudan, and why you got civil war there. Everybody, shout out to Ibn Turay called it out. He knows it's the white Arab with the white man, the other white Europeans that got the terrorists in the Sahel state, and that's why they've been killing gold.
I just saw Sudan declared today a national holiday to mourn at the death of someone in Qatar. I'm like, man, this is really fucked up.
Yes, Joe. That's what's going. Yes. And so that's why when Ibn Turay said we're gonna put an end to this goopy religious shit, no more religious shit inside. Look up. That's why you heard Saudi Arabia get crazy and Abu Dhabi, the UAE get crazy because they keep control and still. Like I said, how's Dubai and all this got all this gold? There's no gold over there. How they got all Africa's gold? Go ahead, Joe.
Crazy.
2004. But it was the Islamic Courts militia forces that drove out the widely hated warlords, making them very popular with some people. By mid-2006, the courts controlled Mogadishu and much of southern Somalia. These courts included different factions. Some supported the transitional federal government, but there was also a hardline Islamic faction pushing to control the entirety of Somalia under their more radical version of Sharia law.
However, Somalia's Sufi Islamists have since taken...
comes from Saudi Arabia. See, they know the African minds are morons. They're goopy religions. So we know Sharia law comes from Saudi Arabia. And that's how they push this shit into other countries to take control of you. Because religion is soft power and it works better. If I got you through religion, you'll do what I say. Because I say it's an act of God. God. Remember, all these goopy niggas got to go to Saudi Arabia to walk this Hajj. And they do it every year. They give Saudi Arabia billions of dollars to go walk around a fucking black Jew. Billions of dollars these Africans go to give Saudi Arabia's economy to walk around a fucking cube in the name of Islam. It's the most perfect. The African mind has been destroyed. But really, the white man got there 400 years ago. The Arab has been there 1,500 years. The black man's mind has been destroyed for at least 1,500 years. And started with Mansa Musa punk ass too. I'm starting to agree about his ass because Remember, Mansa Musa destroyed African religion for fucking Islam. He was locking up people and destroying the empire that was a traditional African empire for this fucking goofy Islam shit. And then eventually that broke up the empire because remember, most of his people were not Islamic. They wouldn't accept the religion. So don't think when they say Africans accept Christianity, that's a lie. Africans accepted Islam, that's a lie. They had to be subjugated and fought and murdered to accept these group religions. And then they're, like Joe said, their history erased so they wouldn't know that their people fought these invading religions. These are invading religions. That's why Northern Africa is now white with these invaders. And these people call themselves Egyptians and shit. Well, you know, you're Egyptian with an Arab name. Hell you talking about? So that's what happened. So we got to go back and I might have to go back on and redo Mansa Musa. Yeah, was he wealthy? Yeah. But he was a traitor to African people. He brought this goofy Islam shit when they didn't accept it. Because remember, they overthrew the Ghana Empire. The Mali Empire overthrew the Ghana, the ancient, not the country Ghana, the Ghana Empire. But Ghana Empire was what still Africa, which over sure herb was traditional. And so they fought with this goofy Islam shit that's been destroying Africa. Islam has been worse to me than Christianity. You know, Christianity had slaves. These motherfuckers had slaves first. And it's been more detrimental to Africa. I mean, both have been just terrible in Africa. It's Christian sanity. It's Islam. And when people say, Christianity, I think Islam been the worst on Africa. Been the worst. It's been the most brutal. Well, they both been brutal shit, I can't say. But yeah, but this goofy Islam shit, it don't ever stop. Because remember, the Sharia law doesn't want these Africans to get educated. They must sit there and just worship the fucking Quran all day and night. So these are fucking morons. So like I told you, they can't be salvaged. The kids, you got to put a bullet in their head. They can't be salvaged because they're indoctrinated with bullshit. You can't be salvaged. They forced it all day and night to study this goofy Quran. Remember, they're not allowed to get and they want to make sure that. Remember, Wahhabi law makes sure that their African woman can't be educated. That's why this is dangerous. They got to wear all that fucking goofy robe shit over their face, and they're not to be educated. So it keeps the women moronic and stupid and subjugated. That was never African culture. This is savage people culture that you've accepted. You subjugate your women now. Your women don't know shit. This is not, and then they tell you, because they haven't taught you history, this is African culture. It is not. This is culture from savages, created people. African women were never subjugated. These goofy religions subjugate women. Well, go ahead, Joe.
Taking up arms to fight them. Different groups with different visions of Islam pitted against each other.
I know that. Different versions of Islam because they're all indoctrinated with this goofy Islam shit. They don't know shit. Remember, these are all more, especially these are all, I don't know if you call them morons, because they're the worst. They're almost like retarded. They're like retarded because remember, their minds have never been developed. So you're really talking about kids that are retarded and adults that are retarded. This is arrested development in a worse way. That's why you're supposed to declare war on them, wipe their ass out, because you're like, you can't negotiate with retarded people. They're retarded. So and the white Arab with the white man has done this so they can steal the resource out of Africa. So they're constantly just extract resources and keep these niggas impoverished, talking about Allah Muhammad said this. No, my Allah Muhammad said that. My Allah Muhammad said this. My Allah Muhammad said this. And these niggas would kill each other on whose version of Allah Muhammad is the best. Because they're now retarded. They never learned anything. It's the time they were born. So you're dealing with retarded people That's how deep, that's how sinister this shit is. And that's why the AU talk about, why the Africans, this is how deep and sinister this is. It's evil. Africans have been descended on by evil, wicked shit. This shit is evil. Go ahead, Joey. Because Africa's rich.
Hiding conflict and violence for the last 18 years.
And it'll never stop.
Neighboring Ethiopia,
It'll never stop.
who backed the TFG, saw this rising force as a direct threat to its security, especially given its history over the Ogaden region and conflicts over the dream of a greater Somalia, which is uniting all Somali territories, including parts of Ethiopia and Kenya's northeastern region. The control under the Islamic courts didn't last long. In December 2006, neighboring Ethiopia, with American support and intelligence, launched a military operation to overthrow the Islamic Courts Union and quickly drove out the courts from major cities. The courts militia couldn't push back the better-equipped Ethiopian military and US forces. It was during this chaos in 2006 that Harakat Al-Shabaab Al-Mujahideen, or Movement of Striving Youth, formally emerged from the military wing of the Islamic courts.
And it's all about
rather
religion.
than facing
All
Ethiopian forces directly.
Who's thinking Allah? This all for fucking dumbass niggas. Who's version of Allah? See, but you don't see this shit happening in the Arabic world, except for the ones since you got America and the other people attacking Iran. But you don't see none of this confusion in their lands with the Allah shit. You don't see this shit in Africa. You don't see none of this shit over there with Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Bahrain. They fund that shit in Africa. Because that's why these countries got wealthy. They're not shit in the desert. They send all this stable shit with these goopy niggas. They've been doing it for over 1,000 years now. And you're going to have to, you're going to have to go and have war with these white Arabs. Yeah, you goopy, cowardly niggas. War has got to come. That's why I'm so angry. Because you as African men, you make African men look bad everywhere. War has got to come to stop this shit. Because this has been going on for over 1,000 years now. Over 1,000 years, this fucking white Arab has been terrorizing Africa to steal wealth. That's why you have those. And then later on, his cousin, the white Caucasian, came in. Learning from the white Arab. See, this is a fact of history. The white Caucasian, who was savage and dirty and fucked up, learned from the white Arab. As the white Arab was losing power, the white Caucasian was gaining power. But they're still in cahoots, helping each other steal African resources and kill African people. You know, you have goopy Christian sanity and goopy Islam. But Islam has been more, today has been more problematic. So, you know, all this violence over and over again. Where's the, see, that's how you know white people are involved in this. Where's the UN to stop it? Why they can't ever come in and stop nothing? Why is this going on for years and years? Because remember, these niggas are all retarded. They're stupid. They're all caught in religious nonsense. So they can't, once you as a child, you're indoctrinated with these stupid religions, you can't come out of them. You're too fucked up in the head. You have not developed as a human being. You haven't developed. So you're indoctrinated. So I told you, best thing for me to do is put a bullet in your head. Because you can't be reasoned with. There's no critical thinking. Get this bullet in the head and come back to your next life. Critical thinking. I got to get you out the paint. You got to go. And do I feel sorry about killing any kid? No, I don't. Because they've been vaccinated with this bullshit. And they're dangerous. Because those kids grow up to be adults. And they're going to kill women and children for their goofy ideology. Because you don't worship Allah like they do. Go ahead, Joby. See, African people don't can keep the religion, make it work. See, Africans can keep Christianity, Islam, and make it work without being, because African people are peaceful by nature. But when they have an outside force of savages who want their resources, this is what happens. Go ahead, Joe.
Militants went underground and started an
And
insurgency. They used guerrilla tactics.
You know if they're not mentioning, I don't know if it's Al Jazeera or not. You know if they're not mentioning who's actually behind. They'll just tell you what the militants do. Who's behind all this? You know, they never tell you who is behind all of this. They tell you what people doing. Where's the root? Who's behind the shit? Go ahead.
Side bombs and targeted attacks against Ethiopian troops and TFG officials. To deal with this new threat, the international community established the African Mission in Somalia, AMISOM,
The international community.
in 2007, starting with Ugandan and Burundian troops.
The Al-Shabaab were always engaging us. 24 hours, they were engaging us.
Big up, Soto. Any Al-Shabaab who tries to attack us must die. There is no mediation for that.
The extremists viewed these forces as foreign occupiers, no different from the Ethiopians. Initially, the insurgent group operated under Aden Hashi Airo, who reportedly trained in Afghanistan. After Airo died in a US airstrike in May 2008, Ahmed Abdi Godane took leadership. Under Godane, the group became more organized. They created a council of top leaders and built a network of regional leaders and specialized teams. These teams focused on gathering intelligence, finances, and media operations. This structure helped them control large areas, including Mogadishu, and execute complex plans such as international recruitment. As Al-Shabaab gained power in Somalia, it also built recruitment networks in Kenya. In 2008, the Muslim Youth Center was established by the Pumwani Riadha Mosque in Nairobi's Majengo slums. This mosque is one of the oldest in Nairobi and owns a large area in Majengo, including the Gikomba market, the largest second-hand clothes market in Kenya. At first, the youth center was a community organization helping young Muslims with social and economic challenges. However, under the leadership of Sheikh Ahmad Iman Ali, who was secretly the leader of Al-Shabaab's Kenyan cell, it slowly turned into a center for recruiting young fighters for Al-Shabaab.
The Riadha Mosque, still under construction in Majengo Estate, Pumwani, is at the center of controversy after it was described by the UN monetary group.
This is some dangerous shit here. You should never allow this shit to be built. There will be war in Kenya. They already told you they want to take half of Kenya. And they're going to be preaching that bullshit in this shit right here. This is called the enemy within. You never allow this shit ever. There's going to be war.
For Somalia.
I say that these are going to be our South Africans in this country if you're not careful.
And Eritrea as a nerve center of the Al-Shabaab terror group's activity.
I'm glad the Kenyan news know, because I already know it. You never allow this shit. You never allow this. You never allow this shit. Shout out to Kenyans. You never allow this. Oh no, this won't be built. No. Buddy. These motherfuckers have openly told you they want to annex half of Kenya. They already told you they want to annex half of your country. They're gonna give you some religious goofy shit to keep this shit going, to teach these kids this goofy shit. Oh no, nope. Build this shit in Somalia. Well, I don't give. Go back home. Go ahead, Joe.
Funding the terrorist groups. The mosque has been under construction since 2007 and is valued at an estimated 40 million shillings. Muslim elders overseeing construction of the mosque have denied that the mosque is linked to the Al-Shabaab.
What's they going to deny? They're not going to say it is. They're not going to say it is. You know it is. They're not going to say it is. They already told you that they want to take half the country. It is. And as an African, you're supposed not, you put up a backbone and tear this shit down. So you gonna build this shit in Somalia. If you got a problem with it, you get the fuck out the country. That's what you're supposed to do as an African. Not everybody be friends, everybody Kenyan. No. You're a threat to my damn security and Kenyan people. You get your ass back to Somalia. That's what you do. You build that shit there, not here. And you be brutal about it so there's no misunderstanding. Get your punk ass back to Somalia. That's what you do. Practice this shit over there, not here in Kenya. Go ahead, Joby.
Sisi ni watu maskini sana. Sisi ni
Think
watu
America allow these motherfuckers to build that shit? And America starts crazy, ICE is coming in, tearing that shit down, and telling these motherfuckers you got to go. You out of here with that shit. Good. Don't cry your ass in Somalia.
The UN report has also mentioned Tourism Minister Najib Balala and nominated MP Amin Abdallah as having donated 200,000 shillings and 500,000 shillings.
These people hate African people. They hate you. They've already said it, openly known. They don't consider themselves Africans and they hate African people. Or unless they put pressure on their ass, then all of a sudden they black and African. They don't adhere to no African. Shout out to Museveni. Museveni said they can't build that shit over there. You build small mosques. Because remember, they got a Somali community in Uganda. You got Museveni ain't no fool. He said, absolutely not. You won't be building that shit here. You're a threat to my power. He said, no, at least you know he's a dictator. He know you motherfucker, you're a threat to my power. You what? Build that shit here? Are you crazy? Better take your ass back to Somalia. You want to build that shit in Uganda? Let me go ahead, Joe.
Respectively, towards the construction of the mosque. The two have since said they contributed towards the construction of the mosque, only to be informed that the funds were supposedly wired to a bank account linked to an Al-Shabaab operative in Somalia.
I want to categorically deny that I have any links with Al-Shabaab.
Neither
do I support either morally.
You don't come out and say you. Anjobi, what?
One of the corrupt people in this country. One of the corrupt.
Of course he is, Joby. Of course he is. And he does.
Or emotionally or financially.
The two MPs are said to have attended a fundraiser for the mosque in which Ahmed Iman Ali, the alleged leader of the Al-Shabaab cell in Nairobi, was present. He is said to be responsible for recruiting and ferrying Kenyan youth to Somalia to join the Al-Shabaab.
Ali was reported to be a very charismatic leader.
Yeah, because I remember there was that time actually when I was in high school, primary, one of the two, when you could hear young people from especially the Muslim community saying that, you know, they're going to sacrifice themselves so long as their family is, you know, well kept, they're going to receive this money and go to Al-Shabaab. It was actually a thing. So this is not alleged. This was happening. So many people were dropping out of school to go try to join these groups because you're being promised huge amount of money. You're like, even if I get blown there, my family is safe. That's what they used to say.
And his speeches were highly impactful.
And I remember there's another one even my dad told me, because he went and then came back years later, but he had changed his identity completely. Like if you look at his previous images and how he was looking that time, like my dad told me, do you know this guy is actually an ex-Al-Shabaab and now he lives freely, like he wasn't doing anything.
Youth in the area were indoctrinated into Al-Shabaab under his influence.
Of course.
By 2009, the youth center had built recruitment networks to raise money and organize travel for recruits heading to Somalia, with Iman Ali serving as the secretary of the mosque. That same year, he moved to Somalia to coordinate Al-Shabaab operations targeting Kenya. He was in charge of hundreds of young Kenyans who had joined the group, including some who were reported to be under the age of 18.
Yeah, children. That's how you see this. I told you, the Kenyan government so fucked up. You know this is going on. You're supposed to put an end to this, and you're supposed to been deported all these Somalians out of your country. Your kindness is now put your people there. That's now a security risk in your country. So you're supposed to round their ass up and get them out of there. And then if they don't like it, so what? You declare war. And wipe their ass out. Because they're a security threat to your people. And they're being sponsored by white Arabs. Because these niggas ain't got no money. So they can rob and steal out of Kenya, out of Sudan. Yes, we all know Sudan is being pillaged and robbed by the white Arabs and the white Caucasians. That's why Rudo's got them there in Kenya today. Isn't it funny how corrupt this nigga is? See, everybody knows it now. The cat's out the bag that the Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, with Abu Dhabi, Dubai, are sponsoring the stealing out of Africa. Isn't it funny? Same shit they do in Somalia and Kenya. That's why Africans are impoverished. Because you got people stealing out of Africa and don't want Africans to have their natural resources to benefit them. God even told Ray, we're going down to the, I've been said, we get down to the nitty gritty. People you worship, goofy religions, you don't want stealing from you. Your goofy Catholic Church with your stupid ass Pope, he's the one stealing from you. Go ahead, Joby.
Every time he went to the mosque, he came back changed. It was as if someone was inciting him with these ideas.
Harun, just 15 years old, became obsessed with the conflict in Somalia. When he vanished at 4 a.m. one September morning, she feared her Harun had gone to fight. His texts from Somalia confirmed it.
Somalia, that's not his war. I don't even know why they are fighting, so why should he leave here and go fight in something he doesn't even understand?
She says that Harun and 6 of his friends were recruited from the sprawling slum of Pumwani.
People in Pumwani say that scores of young men and children have been recruited to join Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab. It seems now that Kenyans are joining the jihad.
He indoctrinated them with the belief that waging war in Somalia was a religious duty,
Exactly.
persuading them.
I told you it's indoctrination.
That by fighting for Al-Shabaab, they were defending their faith.
It's indoctrination.
Meanwhile,
dangerous.
in Somalia, Ethiopia faced criticism for what was perceived as an invasion and also suffered losses to the Al-Shabaab insurgency. Their withdrawal in 2009 created a power vacuum that Al-Shabaab swiftly exploited, consolidating its power over key regions. They seized control of key ports like Kismayo, which brought in significant revenue through exports of charcoal to the Middle East.
What it has done is it has divided the Islamic opposition into many groups, and one of the groups is now in alliance with the transitional government. But the other group, and the stronger group, Al-Shabaab and other radical groups, they now control more territory in south-central Somalia than any other warlord or militia or alliance has control over the last 19 years.
What began as a nationalist resistance against Ethiopian forces gradually evolved into a more extreme movement. Under Godane's leadership, they adopted a global jihadist outlook. In territories under their control, Al-Shabaab implemented their radical version of Sharia law.
I told you Sharia law.
Music and movies were banned, and public executions became common.
Women can't, because they're all retarded. These are all uneducated people. They're all retarded. So they want to create a complete retarded civilization. These are retards. You can't call them morons. They're not smart enough to be morons. These are retarded motherfuckers. Like, they have the minds of like maybe 8-year-old kids as adults. They don't want women to have, they're not even educated. They don't want women educated. Women don't go to school. Women, it's barbaric. It's not even civilization. They won't build shit. It's really uncivilized. That's why as a nation you gotta wipe their ass out. They're a threat to you as a civilization. It ain't no talking, no, oh, well, this kid is 10, he can be, nope. I'm wiping all of them out. Go ahead, Jimmy.
With amputations being carried out for crimes like theft.
That's savage. That's savage this shit is. That's
On the
savage.
11th of July 2010, Al-Shabaab carried out its first major attack outside Somalia by bombing 2 locations in Kampala, Uganda, where crowds had gathered to watch the World Cup final. The attack killed 74.
That's why I'm a 70 said, no more of this bullshit. That's 30 years ago. I mean, 28, whatever, 27 years ago. Nope. Exactly. You don't let these motherfuckers have a foot on your country. They want to be barbarism in your country of morons. You don't want nobody to be educated. So what the fuck would you develop? What would you do? We want to still be like we were in 3,000 years ago with nothing and just praying back and forth every day. Allah, 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 Allah. You know these motherfuckers do. They be sitting there. Allah, 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 Allah. They want the whole country doing that all day long. Allah, 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 Allah. And where this bullshit religions come from, they don't even do none of this shit. Wiping your ass out.
Yeah, but I'll share the rest of the video, family, as we come to the end of today's conversation there. Yeah, the history of Al-Shabaab, literally, again, like it said, we know who is behind it. This is the same copy and paste in Nigeria, Sudan, Congo, you know, in many countries. This is the same issue. Sadly, if this country, if with this president we have, these more cases might even start becoming even more. Because I'm trying to think about it. The fact that we had some now already in the border of Kenya, 11 of them being killed, and the fact that we have the French troops here, they're going to start maybe using these people as an excuse of maintaining the French troops here as still resources.
Of course, Joe.
That's a good way of running away with things as they usually do. It's super, super crazy. But yeah, I'll finish the rest of the video with you guys on WhatsApp. I'll share it. Bashatu Jibajaba, thank you for joining me this morning. Says, is water bath practice in Kenya? The midwife. And the midwife says you got it. Yeah, we have water bath practice in Kenya, but it's really expensive, man. It's like really, really, really expensive. It is expensive. The people can afford it if they have money. Midwives, unless you go to the village, that's when you can find like really active midwives. They're still there, but not that known. You'll find like it's a secret kept within the village or a certain group of people, because again, this is something that the governments have banned. So there's someone who's just stupid enough can go and report you. You might end up being arrested. So it's not a conversation that is loudly talked about, or information that is supposed to be spread to everyone, because people are stupid. Understand that. So I also see Jiba says, does the placenta start to stink? No, it doesn't stink. I don't think it really stinks.
No, the placenta is where all your cells, all your that's what I'm looking for. Remember, our government doesn't want to have that. They make sure you can't get your placenta in our hospital. That's where they do all your damn where they do all your testing, all your scientific. The woman's placenta is valuable. Especially the black woman. I think the black woman's placenta is worth like $50,000 to $100,000 as stem cells. That's where your stem cell testing goes at. That's where all your stem cells go at. So I think that's so if they're in Africa allowed to use it, but there's no way to sell it in Africa. There's no scientists there where they can make money from, because remember they're back. You can't even get your placenta in America. That's how important, especially black women. That's no, because they take it. That's why they do all their damn experiments to keep white people alive.
Okay. I've done some mistake here buying tokens. I'm trying to see how I'm gonna get it back. This is crays. But much love, family. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Yeah, he did, but I did a mistake. Instead of buying the ones for the studio, I bought the ones for my house. I confused the digits. I don't know how I did that. So I'm fucked up. But I'll see what I'm gonna do, if I can call them I'm fucked up. Shit.
No, I can't see no more money. That's why I had the more. That's why I had the more. That's why I had the more send it to you because I had to. He woke me up this morning. I asked for money for the goddamn car and some other shit.
It's okay. Much love, family. Have yourselves a beautiful rest part of your morning, and see you guys later on the Africa Today show. But we're coming back with the Rhythm Scoop show. Let me figure out how I'm gonna get these tokens back because this is crazy. But peace and thank you for